Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to replace a surface mount light with a recessed can light with color changing LEDs. They're going to be 6-inch recessed color changing LEDs. 5 different colors. They're going to be wet rated, IC rated, in contact with insulation. If you're installing a can in a wet location like a shower, it needs to be wet rated for wet locations. Also, IC rated for insulation if it's going to be in contact with insulation. The slim cans are nice because they can straddle the truss or rafters that are in the attic or other obstacles such as pipes or ductwork. But you do need to make sure there's still clearance for your wire going up and your J-box going into the attic. So they can only straddle a certain amount. I'm not sure what the inches are on that, but they are nice for that reason. They're easy to replace. They're basically just plug and play, low voltage. They have a transformer with a J-box that changes from alternating current to DC current. When you pull the light out of the ceiling, you can change the colors with this. And you pull it out by just releasing these two clips. That's also how it's installed. You just squeeze these together and put it up into the drywall. They connect here. You plug them together and you just screw this down tight. It's not tight right now because I'm going to take it apart and install it. And your wire goes into here. You'll need a grommet RC50, some kind of connector to protect your wire. Generally they're 1/2 inch. Where the knockout is this hole right here. This is inside the J-box where your driver transformer is located, where it changes the voltage from AC to DC. And that's where your wire connects. Of course, you should have a qualified licensed electrician do that for you. Never attempt to do electrical work on your own without consulting an electrician first. So we're installing the recessed can light in a main bathroom. We're replacing a surface light with the recessed can light. And I got a helper. So these are mostly the tools you'll be needing. If you have to make a hole, if there's not a light already there, you will need a 5 to 6 inch hole saw and a drill, because you're going to have to drill your own hole. You can do it with a drywall saw, or the easy way is use a drill with a hole saw. And to get again today, there's a light existing. There will be a hole up there, 3 5/8 roughly hole in the ceiling already. So we'll just make that hole bigger. So for the tools, right now I have a screw gun drill, drywall saw, headlamp. This came with the box of cans that usually give you a template of some sort. So I'll just trace that, and we'll go over that with a razor blade, a knife, utility knife, and then I'll use my drywall saw. That helps from flaking and stuff like that. You will need something to pry the box off if it's a nail on. If it's nailed directly to the truss, so I'll use a screwdriver generally for that, because it will be nailed. Or if there is it could be a bar hanger, and that means it's got a steel bar placed between two trusses or rafters, and you will have to take those off. But for that, you just pull the screw out of the center of the box, and we can look and see what kind of box this is. And you can just push the bar up and then pry it off the trusses. Stud finder if you're cutting a brand new hole, you want to see what's in the ceiling. You can use a stud finder to find rafters, trusses. I usually probe with a small rod or a screwdriver just to verify there's no pipes or ductwork. Obviously I need a pencil to trace out the template. Now we're going to remove this light from the ceiling. I've already pulled the globe off. Just a standard light, a couple screws. Pretty simple. I'll pull that down and I'll show you what the next step is. Again, always contact a qualified licensed electrician. When working with electricity, you want to make sure the light switch is off. Of course, before you start messing with the light, generally you'll have two screws holding a surface mount light up. I remove those, then you'll have wires, obviously a box that you'll need to remove, and then you'll put your template up here and trace it. Install the recessed can at that point. Also on the tool list, remember you'll need a some kind of voltage tester to make sure the power is off so you don't get shocked or blow something up. So if you look into the box, if it's a bar hanger, there'll generally be a screw there holding it to the bar, or a couple of them. So I know it's attached to a stud somehow. I did some probing around and I know the stud runs this way. You could run a stud finder also, and you'll find it that way. And now I need to pry that off of there without damaging the drywall. So I'll push up there and pry the screwdriver from here out. Now that that's free, I'll just pull the two wires out and connect them to the J-box, and I'll cut the hole out. First I'll do the template, trace the template, razor knife around it, and continue to cut it out with the drywall saw. And actually what I will do is actually cut the hole out first and then remove the wires in the box, because there will be almost a 6-inch hole there, 5 5/8 hole. So it's easier to reach in there and work. I've traced the template with the razor knife. So I scored it so it will keep the drywall from cracking more than it already has. It's spittle around there already, so that's going to help a lot. And again, the beauty about the slim cans is this was centered on the room, on that wall. I wanted to keep it centered. The stud is right here. It would have been easy just to make the edge of the can like right here recessed, and then I wouldn't have to go over the wood, but with the slim can I can straddle that truss. And there is a pipe right here, right in this area. It's up a couple inches and the slim can will fit in there no problem. A recessed can housing would not even make it. So that's the beauty of that. So the hole is cut. Be prepared for lots of insulation and drywall dust. So you might want to wear a mask and gloves, and make sure you put a tarp or some kind of cloth to catch stuff on the floor to make cleanup easier. I have connected both the Romex wires to the J-box. I didn't show that because if you don't know how to do that, maybe you should have a qualified electrician do it just for safety reasons. If you think you can figure it out, I mean, that's up to you, but again, that's at your own risk. So I plugged those two wires together. You just push them together and I'll screw this on. I'm trying to record with one hand, or I'd show you how to do that and do the job at the same time. So basically just push it together and then you just screw this little cap on. Plug and play. Select your colors right here. I will show you that in a second. My lens is kind of dirty from the dust, so bear with me, but these are your colors. It's warm all the way to daylight. And we're gonna go with warm for now. And that's the finished product. If that is not enough light in this bathroom, we want to add another can over the tub, we can, over the center. It's wet rated for wet locations, and one in the shower. It's pretty dark in the shower, so we may add one in there. It's a good idea to add one in the shower for safety reasons. If you have been hurt or are elderly and don't get around very good, could prevent a slip or a fall or locating something in the shower. Hopefully this video was helpful to somebody. And it does make quite a mess. You can put the insulation back in the attic if you want to. I'll probably just throw this away. Thanks. Like and subscribe. See you next time.